I'm coming, y'all. I'm coming. No, I don't want to do that. And I'm here, y'all. What's up? What's up? We are talking about tonight Miss Cleo, her rise and fall. This is a Lifetime movie. If you are a 90s person, like, well, basically my young adult life was in the 90s. So if you was in the 90s, late 89, you saw her commercials. You saw her infomercials. You saw her with her famous slogan, "Coming out." So we talking about Miss Cleo, and we get her story. Let me just, before everybody gets here, I'm just gonna give you all a couple of fun facts. You know, Tim Reed wrote this and directed this. He produced this. Tim Reed is with I don't know if y'all remember WKRP in Cincinnati back in the day, and he had his pretty wife Daphne Reed. So he basically did this movie. He's been doing movies a lot though too. He does a couple of I've seen a couple of Lifetime movies that he has done, and they are good movies. If y'all don't know who Tim Reed is, let me share my screen so I can let y'all know. And y'all be like, "Oh, him? Oh yeah, I know you talking about Moochie. This guy right here. Let me bring him closer. That's Tim Reed." Now, if y'all watch WKRP in Cincinnati, stuff like that, shows like that back in the day, he was like, he was like the black DJ on there, but he was also in Sister Sister. That's what most of you youngins probably remember him from T and Tamara's show, because he played the dad. But that's what I remember him from. Okay, so now look, let me just bring. I thought I heard somebody ringing my bell, and ringing my bell with the urgency to get in here and stuff. So let me see who it is. Let me see who ringing my bell. Let me see who ringing my. Is that Ginger Snaps? What up, girl? I don't know. Look, she might be here. She's here, but look, I left her backstage so long. She probably thought I forgot about her. But it's other people coming. What did I?
Hello.
Hey,
Mm.
loud and clear. I can hear you. What's up, girl? What was your thoughts about this series, girl? I mean, not the series, the movie.
Um, I think Lady Rage did a great job. You
She
know.
did. I thought
hmm
she did too.
I mean, I
She's
don't
very
know her.
convincing.
I don't know her from acting, so I don't know if she's done other acting things before. Well, yes, she has. I'm gonna take that back. I have seen her acting and some other stuff,
You seen
but
her in Friday After Next.
yeah, yeah. But I'm talking about a little bit more serious. I have seen her
I seen her
acting
in a
some.
horror movie before.
Yeah, I've seen her acting some stuff. Yeah, But anyway, I think she did a good job.
I
hmm
thought she did too.
I think she did a good job. Yeah.
I thought she did too. Yeah, so I was just explaining some of the fun facts that Tim Reed, he wrote and produced this, and I thought it was a good, I thought this was a good thing. You got the details. I know me and you talked about watching that documentary before, and I know you seen it. So I like this take on it, because it gave a true depiction of that documentary as well. What was your thoughts about that?
The documentary went into more detail, but I do understand it in a movie you only have an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at the most. So you only can give us so much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think for it, but it pretty much went similar to what they did in the documentary. It's just a documentary gave more detail of all sides, everything that went down. But overall, I like that. I think they did a good job. I mean, sometimes Lifetime, you know, is a big miss, but I think they did a good job with this one.
So yeah, what I did was I thought that the documentary dove more into her life. You learned more about her as a person and her life and things of that nature. Because it was stuff that covered the documentary that didn't cover the movie. But I loved the movie. I thought it was good. I thought it was very accurate because I remember when it was on TV. I remember when she was on those different shows, like how the kids was talking about and things of that nature. But we're gonna start it off. And she seems like she started already with she started already with running from something, running from a scam with these people, and they had grants and stuff. So she was like doing something funny with the money from like from the gate out, from when we seen her. And she I like, you saw her do that, and it seemed like she took advantage of good people because it was a grant. So to me, you misappropriated funds and stuff like that, and then you had to leave town. And it seems like she's done this more than once. So let me bring Momo in, and then hey Momo.
Hi ladies.
Hi, what was your overall thoughts about the movie?
Okay, overall, I thought it was good. Obviously, I learned a lot, Moochie likes to make fun of me for being her little sis, At the time of Miss Cleo, I was very much so a little Momo. But you guys know I'm very big into 90s culture because that was definitely my culture in the time that I grew up. And yes, at 7 and 8 years old, I 100% remember seeing Miss Cleo, call me now. And I remember seeing all the ads, and she was literally a part of pop culture of the 90s, and it was very interesting to learn more about her story, and literally, like the title says, her rise and fall. So it was interesting.
It was because it's like she basically started with fraud out the gate, and then she had to leave town because she spent these people money. It's obvious she did. She misappropriated the funds. Whatever she was getting from that, the sales that night from the door, she was gonna use that basically as her spending cash to get away, basically.
Yep. Now, Moochie, do you recognize that male actor?
Yeah, I forgot what I seen him in something.
We all know him
tell me.
I will tell you, we all know him as the Woof Woof, the Red Dogs from this past season.
Oh yeah.
He played one of the lead
Ain't that
Red
the
Dogs.
guy you met?
And I met him with his fine self. Yes, I met him at the BMF event. Yeah, so shout out to, I hate that I don't remember his name. Y'all know I'm bad with names.
So
but yeah,
you could have got him for the interview because
we're gonna talk about him. If I had known, I mean,
I tried to tell you. You said somebody else you knew from there too. You knew 2 people from the cast, right?
Yeah, I didn't even realize. Yeah, I'm mad. I did not realize it was him when I watched it today, because obviously I would have reached out. But yeah,
See, you should have watched it yesterday, like you was supposed.
Hey. Oh, we got sound effects. There you go. Hey,
Tamika. Welcome to my crib. So Tamika, what was your thoughts about this movie, and was it accurate? Because this is from our era, T. How close was it to the commercials that we saw on TV and the infomercials and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was cool. I thought she did a really good job. That was a good pick. I would like to see her in some more stuff. Like, okay, Lady Rage, come through.
Yeah, she did a good job. She did do a good job.
She
So look, she like she was couch surfing too with her girls.
Yeah.
So she wore her welcome out with this chick.
Ooh, baby. She went a little bit too easy on that woman, if you ask me.
Nah, she had to leave quietly. See, she got to get out of Dodge now, so she gonna try to diffuse everything. You don't want to have a hurricane when you leave. You already got these people from the play on your back. Now she's already mad at you. You just, you gave her the warning. She knew you meant business. It is what it is, because she did raise up on her. She did raise up on her.
You being very nice. You being very nice, Moochie. You being.
I think she was being strategic.
Yeah, I felt two ways about it. On one hand, I was like, she was too late, but on the other hand, once all this other stuff came out, and I know she didn't want the Popo to look at, be on the lookout for her, and she was trying to get out of Dodge. I see why she probably didn't go to the max that she would have went to, and then maybe that could have been calmer, because that was kind of grimy what she did to the people. I'm just saying.
Very grimy. But listen, I'm not a mother yet, so if I'm overstepping, it is what it is. But this is how I feel. I have a little sibling. I have little cousins that I used to raise and take care of. So no, you put your hands on my child to the point where you leave a bruise or mark on them, we about to fight. And this is my issue with what everything y'all saying. I get what y'all are saying, but I just feel like for me, let's not act like she didn't have nobody. She had her mom. I know her mom was probably a piece of work from what we saw on the show, but this is where you put your pride and ego to the side for the betterment of your children. You could have went to your mom's house and been like, look, mom, let me stay here for 3 nights, whatever night, a week. Show her what happened to the baby and be like, look, please, I don't ask you for nothing, but please, can you just let us stay here for a week or so? I don't give a damn. Ain't no way better put your hand on my child and leave a mark on their face like that. We would have been tussling and fighting in that mother trucker.
They had to leave town right after this thing happened, because you remember.
We would have been packing up in the car and we would have slept up. I don't care.
I'm just saying, somebody like that would have been in jail if you acting on your emotions. She picked the lesser of the two evils. But I mean, you have a right to your opinion, and it is what it is.
She was just too light for me. She would have gotten at least a lethal cussing out.
She did tell her don't test her. She picked up she had the mop. When she picked up that broom that she had in her hand, she tried to hit her with that, and she grabbed it, and she was like, don't. So, I mean, I'm looking at it like for principle, but I'm looking at it like, yo, if something pop off and the cops come, I'm going to be even in more doo-doo if this happens.
I get what you're saying. I guess my confusion with the writing is, if the cops were looking for her, they surely weren't looking hard enough for her.
So you got to remember, this is like the 90s. Everything ain't on computer yet. So, everything ain't on social media. You know how they catching these people that's doing these other things, how quick they catch. It's not going to be like that. It's a slow process. So, right now, nobody really knows about it. The people don't even know that she stiffed them without leaving them the money.
Right.
They just know the play was over. They're going to divvy everything up, but she never came back. So she's just trying to get out of town. So I saw where it was going with this. So I understood. Sometimes you got to handle, sometimes you do have to pick the lesser of the two evils. And she had to get out of town. And what? If she gets jammed up, her kids is gone.
That's true. That is so true.
And they can't even get their money back. It's going to cost them more money trying to get that money back. I felt bad for these people, because it seemed like she had them on the hook for everything, and they didn't realize anything that was going on. She basically conned them. It was a grift. But that one guy, he seemed like he's going to be determined to get get everything back that she took from them. And that's what I liked about that. Hey, Daria. Hey, Sally. Okay. And EJ, I don't know if she coming or what. She might be coming. What's up, Suburbia? Yeah, she was on the Steve Harvey show too. That's right. She was one of his students.
Oh.
Lady of Rage. She was on a couple of things because we was talking about like I know Inga says she didn't really see her do any acting, but everybody remember her from the Friday movie, so you know.
Yeah, she has small roles and different things. She definitely have been in other things, but as far as this role right here, and you know, her playing this main character based on an actual person, I think it was a good fit. And I would like to see her have some more main roles. I think she might have, you know, something that she's good at.
I agree. Okay, y'all. Oh, by the way, hold on. Let me just go to here real quick. By the way, y'all, I'm out of YouTube jail. Shouts out to Suburbia Jones. He just gave me a $50 super chat. Well, no, he gave me a super chat, so thank you. Look, I'm out of jail, y'all, and I'm back. So I don't know if y'all want to, you know, hit me with some gratitude. I'd greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Congratulations. Welcome back.
Thank you, Em.
Let's get this money.
So, look, she got out of town, new beginnings, and we see how at first she wasn't doing good with this thing, but she had to find her own niche, and when she found her own niche, she take off like a rocket, y'all. What was y'all thoughts of the conversations and how she was talking to these people? But we'll go with her boss first and her signing that thing saying that she was a psychic, because that thing is gonna come back and haunt her. So who wants to go first to talk about like everything that's here so far? Her just starting out with this business, her and things of that nature.
I'll go.
Go ahead, Mama.
It just really goes to show you how really important it is for us to make sure we read everything before we sign documentation. There's countless of stories, obviously, we know from the 80s and 90s. If we focus on the music industry, that's why so many people were signing terrible contracts, i.e. Tony Braxton, TLC, the list goes on and on and on. So this is just another example of like, damn, you got to read the documentation before you sign it. The boss cracked me up. I know y'all know I'm bad with names. I know I've seen her before in other roles, so it was nice to see her in this. Any of you ladies recognize her from previous roles?
I remember her from the Single Moms Club.
Okay.
Thank you, dearie.
Oh, yay, more money. And then so I don't know. It's just that documentation. I'm just confused. I guess it's just it's weird to me because on one hand they're saying, oh, this is all entertainment, but then on the other hand you're making the workers sign a documentation claiming that they are psychic. So it's really, I guess it was a way for them to save the companies behind. I'm sure since years past they've found loopholes in that, right? I mean, obviously they haven't even done psychic stuff. They kind of left that alone, I guess after the Miss CLEO lawsuit and everything. But I will say I thought it was very, very unique of her. Obviously, she does have a creative bug within her for her to tap into her time in, I guess, theater or whatever she was doing, to be creative enough to almost create a character. That I will say that was very, very smart and very creative of her. And she did it very well. She was very convincing. She convinced customers, she convinced companies. And I mean, like I said, she's a notable figure of pop culture. So I have to say, yes, she was shady, and you know, I don't like that side of her, but the creative side was very much so present.
Okay, so Tamika, what was your take on this whole thing with her basically having her little having her whole little flair on how she kept them on the phone, because it was new beginnings, and she said your job is to keep them on the phone.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, she was kind of having a hard time at first, but at the end of the day, she knows she's trying to make this money and take care of stuff. She don't want to have to go back to her mama and all of that. So I think she just dug into what she already knew and was like, okay, I'm going, use it in this situation and I'm going to make the best of it. She literally, and she was good at it. It seemed like she was a natural, and once she started getting it going, that was pretty much all she wrote.
I personally like the Inga. Now, let me ask you something, Inga. Do you remember her commercials?
Do I remember what?
Do you remember her little slogans and her commercials from back in the day?
Yeah, it was playing all night long. If you were up past midnight, you saw it all night long.
Yeah, I was laughing at this girl's mother down here, Portia, because I even wrote down her name because her mother sound like real moms.
The one wrapped up in the blanket.
Yes, when she did the thing. Oh, look, I'm not.
So Wanda Braxton, she stayed on the damn couch, the whole damn thing. I was like, is Wanda ever getting up off of here? But I like see her having no roles.
I liked her. I liked her.
Wanda Braxton, the sister of Tony Braxton. I'm sure y'all see the reality show, The Braxtons, or the Family Braxton Values, whatever that's what it used to be called. But yeah, she was on that couch. Was she supposed to be like drunk? Was she supposed to be like a drunk?
I don't know what she could be working. I didn't like. They never specified. I didn't know if she was just coming in, laying down after she got off work. I didn't know if she was supposed to be sick, but we just knew she was on that couch and she didn't want you running up her damn phone bill.
I was like, she act just like them real mama.
You know what? Mean. That's what made me think about it, because you know what? I had a friend, her mother used to put the lock on the phone. Do you remember back in the day? Look.
Oh, yeah.
Look, you ain't going to remember this, Momo. Back in the day, look, if you had a rotary phone, who remembers people putting locks on their phone so their parents so you couldn't use the phone while they was at work?
Yes. Yeah, no, you couldn't use the phone just anytime you felt like it.
No,
using the phone. For me, yes, using the phone was definitely a privilege, but it never got to the point where my parents had to do that in my house.
But that was before you wouldn't probably.
That was before the cordless phone.
Yeah, they used to lock the phone up. They used to put the lock on the phone so you couldn't dial no numbers.
Damn,
it was especially on the rotary phone.
Exactly, you was high tech if you had a push button phone in your house back in the day.
Right,
that was high tech back then. Look, I'm just telling my age, ain't I? Look, I remember my friend's mother had they had that lock on their phone. And she'd be like,
"Oh wait, look at Moochie, look at Amina's comment. She said she called and ran up the bill. Look."
Wait, hold on. Where's Amina? I can't even. Okay. There we go. She said, laughing my ass off. I actually called that mess before when I was 17. The bill was like $500. It was not Miss Cleo. Was it the Psychers Friends Network? I got everything wrong. I hung up on them. She got everything wrong and I hung up on them.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh.
Oh, thank you, EJ. So yeah, look. They was already getting lawsuits, this business. And it seemed like where she was in, remember when she relocated to Florida. She didn't even tell her mother where she was going. By the time she got to where she was going, one of the kids contacted her mother to let her know that she left town.
Good.
But they see that she's bringing in the money. And they like, we love you. Let's get this money. So, that's where they at right now at this point. And Steve is Steve and Peter. Steve is the guy is Sax's character. Like, look, y'all know who Sax is, so y'all, most of my people here watch Power, so I'm not even gonna. Y'all know who he is. That's Shane, and he's he's the in charge of the business. He's the owner of the business, so it's his business, and Peter brings CLEO's numbers to his attention. He says, I've been listening to her phone calls and she's amazing. So they really like her chick, and they're basically she's gonna be the face of their business. And there's pros and cons with that, but right now she's just seeing all the pros. She heard everything they said, and she liked what she heard. They negotiated some money, but I don't think it was like a big difference right there at this point, because I don't even think they knew how big they was gonna be with this. What was y'all thoughts on the businessmen, with them and bringing her in further and basically centering their business around her?
I mean, it made sense. They just was sitting there talking about how things wasn't working out and they owing people, and he want to take no call from what was his name from Miami Vice?
Oh yeah, Philip Michael Thomas. Yeah. He was the spokesperson for the last time. He
was trying to avoid all the calls and all of that. So if you see this person is really like your biggest breadwinner, she getting the most calls, people calling in and requesting her, they don't even want the other workers, then of course you're going to be like, oh, well, we need to get her, and on the main stage so she can bring us in some bucks.
They was like, look, we're gonna put this big money maker behind it, and they knew that lawsuits was gonna be coming, but they was like, we're gonna worry about that later. Let's get this money. They done set up this had a whole campaign with her. She had her own commercial, and y'all remember these commercials, right?
Yep.
The famous "Call Me Now."
Yep.
And they probably, I used to do collections. If they hear you like when you got the gift, when you like really shooting game, they'll sit back and listen to them calls and be amazed at it. Cause she probably was keeping them on the phone a long time. Cause she's doing a whole deck of cards, y'all.
Right.
And then people gonna have more questions. Even though some people know deep in their heart that this night might not be real, but some stuff, it seemed like it's geared towards them when they hear it. I don't know. Some of she seemed like she was getting, like, a lot of people was believing her, and it was just like she had it going on. I ain't gonna front.
So psychics, was it a big deal in the 90s? Like,
yeah, they had the psychics friend network, and it seems like this was connected with that, y'all. Did y'all notice that?
Yeah.
Because I want to say, was this about they had Dionne Warwick, and then her network went down after, because they was getting a lot of complaints.
Warwick and Friends.
It was Dionne Warwick and Friends, and then you had this, but I never knew this was connected to the Psychic Friends network. I didn't know she was connected with that too. Did any of y'all know that? Because this was
I never really knew it specifically, but I've just always remembered seeing those two commercials all through the night, like Inga said.
But there were lots of them. They weren't the only one. It was lots of those psychic things. It was lots of them. Yeah,
it was a lot
very
of
popular in the 90s. Very popular.
Look, you had Suzanne Summer with her Thigh Master. Yeah, I remember that. So as her look, I was looking at all of these things with the popularity, and then you see the guy that she griffed in the beginning. He's starting to see her on TV, so you know he mad
with his fine self. Yeah, he mad. Real mad.
You had people coming to her mother's house because they know it's her on TV, because they getting these outlandish phone bills. thought some of this stuff, some of these scenes was funny to me. What was y'all thoughts?
Yeah, I was cracking up with some of those things, but I also was like, sir, I don't own the damn business. My daughter don't own the damn business. Like, you better call them. Hell, you knocking at my door for?
You know how you come into my door like I'm gonna give you money. That's her job. She's just acting. That's the same thing I would have said if he came to my door talking about your child did X, Y, and Z, and this is why. No, it's free will. Your daughter listened on the phone.
LaToya Jackson definitely had one too.
Oh yeah, that's right, Sally.
Mm-hmm.
There was lots of celebrities during that time. It was a multiple amount of celebrities. They were all doing these types of things, all kind of infomercials.
Yup. Look, you even had Chuck Norris doing like the exercise equipment. But when she was talking to this lady, that girl was telling everything when she probably was helping her along with her reading. I don't care what nobody said. This the chick in the hat. She was funny where even CLEO hung up on her. Huh? I didn't hear you. I said even CLEO hung up on her because that she was on that call too long. Yeah. But they branded it like it was her. Yeah, they did. They did because she probably was their biggest, she was bringing in the most money. So they did brand it around her. And then people was calling just asking specifically for her. So then it was getting difficult with that. And then she came, when she asked for a bigger cut, this is where he shut her down with the meetings. I got feedback. I don't know who. Okay. So what was y'all take on this? With her mother warning her about this whole entire thing, y'all.
I knew it was well. We already know the damn story anyway. But anytime your mama tell you something and then say, "Don't come crying to me later," you already know there's gonna be a time when you're gonna be picking up that phone and you're gonna be crying about something. And she was like, "Oh no, I got it all under control. I'm taking care of my kids. I want them to have a good life." Which, you know, it wasn't nothing wrong with that part of it, but it was like some signs were starting to come through. Like you may want to go ahead and, you know, check some things out and reevaluate some things. This may not be the right way to go about it, but she's just looking at it like it's an acting job. I'm bringing apart. I'm paying my bills. I'm taking care of my kids. That's it. And then, of course, her going to him to ask for money, which I ain't blame her because she knew her contract was about to be up. And it's like, you know, I'm basically y'all money maker. I'm the face of it. Why not get a bigger cut?
Right. I think Tamika brings up a good point. I do think she was very naive in just thinking that it was simply like an acting gig. I think she did not, you can tell she did not look at it as a business deal. Because I feel like if she did, hopefully she would have been smart enough to have gotten her own lawyer from the get-go. But again, I don't think she realized even what this was about to be, how big it was going to grow. But she was definitely a little bit naive, I will say.
Inga, you think if she would have looked at this like this was her grift, she probably would have came off better?
If she had looked at it like what?
Like it was her, like, look, a grift is a grift. This a grift just like what she was doing. So
if
she would have looked at it like this was her thing, like how she did with the other thing, do you think she would have came off better with money wise if she knew? I don't think she knew like the intricate stuff of it. If she did, she would have came off and made more money. Because he was getting the bulk of it, this guy.
Yeah, she was a scammer, but she just wasn't thinking. She thought it was something legit. She was making honest money. So she didn't think about the bigger picture. And I don't think, honestly, this could have happened to anybody. Because I don't think anybody, especially at that time, it's not like we a little more astute now on things and we pay attention to stuff and we just don't fall for everything as much now. But back then, you're talking about from leaving from the 80s into the 90s. There was no social media. There was nothing to look up. Nobody was thinking about getting lawyers. And now everybody get a lawyer for if they trip off the curb. You know, now it's any little thing you get a lawyer. But now it wasn't like that then. So she didn't think about it.
It was barely people on the internet. Remember, she didn't find out about stuff that was going on till like later on.
Yeah, because I feel like at this point in the game, really, I mean, and she would have been thinking about it in that way. She could have let the contract expire and got her own thing, probably did it out of her house or got her a little shop and had people come in and pay her that way. And they all come straight to her. Plenty of people go to them little shops to get their reading.
Yep. So everything that she's doing now is having effect on the girls at home. Who wants to talk about that first? I felt bad for the kids. Well, who anybody else want to address it? Because the oldest daughter took it the hardest to me. She was embarrassed by her.
I mean, I just feel like CLEO, whatever the hell her real name is, not even her real name. Your whatever her name is, I don't even know. But I obviously felt like she was obviously a selfish person because you took your kids from where they're used to being and then you just uproot them across the country wherever she moved to. So and you took them away from their grandmother. So it's just like I already felt like that was a little bit of selfishness. And then obviously she got wrapped up in the world of Miss CLEO and, wasn't really there for her children as far as emotionally being there, checking in on them. She didn't really know what was going on in their lives. So she definitely dropped the ball, I feel like, as a parent. So that's clear.
I mean, she dropped the ball, but she was making sure she provide for her kids. So I get it. She don't, how people don't look at it like that because she's like, well, I'm working from home. It's not like I'm neglecting them and things like that. They got everything they need, but she's just not.
Yes, as far as necessities, but we all know in real life, necessities.
I mean, that's usually how it is when you're working mom. Even if you are at home, when you're at home, sometimes that could be even harder because they feel like they can interrupt you because you're there, but technically you're not there because this is your work hours and you're busy with that. So one of the things I remember the daughter saying was like, oh, well, when am I supposed to have time for her? She's always on the phone. She's working. And when they was about to go tell her something, she had closed the door. And then it was like the other part of it is because she was getting more popular and people think she's a scammer or whatever different things. They saying she weird. Now you get your kids being made fun of. And, the guy not wanting to talk to her because his parents don't like her. And in that aspect of it, so it was two different situations happening. But I did like that she took time and went and talked to the dude and tried to get to the bottom of what was happening.
Yeah, because she felt like she was going to be ridiculed around with her. She felt like she was going to be ridiculed by her peers. So, yeah. Anybody else? Look, now the whole now it's going legal. Now they're being investigated, and being that she's the face, they want to come after her too. So she's scared at this point. She's kind of afraid now of what could happen. But they still trying to let her know, we got this. Don't worry. You just stay with us. If you stick with us and we all stick together, everything will be all right. What was y'all take on this? Because I didn't know that it went this far. I remember she was on different shows where they was talking about how the people was getting robbed. But then again, with those 900 numbers, everybody was getting a high bill because of stuff they didn't realize how they was doing like a bait and switch with the whole thing. They would have you call an 800 number, and then in order to get in touch with her, it was a 900 number, and those average calls would cost about $60. So people was running up their bills, keep staying on the phone talking to these people.
So this is my question, y'all, on the legal, and I probably have to talk to a lawyer, but on the legal aspect, I'm very confused. Is it twofold? Because one, I guess there was an issue because she wasn't technically a psychic, but then when I looked at the commercials, like actually pull up the real commercials, it says at the bottom of the screen, the first 3 minutes are free. So obviously after the first 3 minutes, you're going to be charged. They did not disclose how much the customers would be charged? Or, I mean, what was the technicality of them to even have a real lawsuit against this?
That's what it was.
You could spend 3 minutes just being on hold.
That's
so that
right.
probably was the 3 minutes free. And it did say for entertainment purposes. But see, people saw what they wanted to see. You going through a breakup with your boyfriend and you just want somebody to talk to. People, there was no psychology today. There was no Better Me and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't all these services that we have now where you can call and have therapy. So they was like, let me call and talk to this person and get some advice about whatever's going on. And you don't know if they real or not real, and nobody's reading all the fine print on the bottom of their TV screen. And it's flashed so fast, you don't have time to read a note. You can't read it anyway. It's so small. They still do that on commercials now, where they have the stuff so small that you got to get right. You put your eyeball up right into the screen to read it, So yeah, so that still happens now with, but I think but it did say entertainment purposes, but I think people saw what they wanted to see.
Yeah, most of that stuff
and then
was
people
more writing, so they wasn't paying attention to that part of it. That's how they was able to get over. You ain't thinking about that aspect. 800 number is free, but everybody knew that a 900 number you have to pay. So it's like you calling the 800 number first, and then you calling that 900 number. That's why they kept saying. Their argument was like, oh, are they dumb? It literally says this, that, and third, but then it's contradictory at the same time because the stuff you had hindsight says, oh, she is a psychic, and then that was that side of it. So that's how they was getting over. And basically the FCC and them was like, yeah, no, that ain't happening. We supposed to have certain guidelines for this, and they wanted to use them as an example.
There was so many calls to the Better Business Bureau about these 900 lines because a lot of people's phone bills were going into collections and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, and there was a lot of 900 numbers at that time.
They had the hotlines where you could call for a lady and stuff like that.
Some of
had a job doing one of those
commercials.
Like I almost had a job doing one of those, but
I can see with your boys.
I definitely see that girl say Moochie.
And that's in another life.
Some
hey,
of it,
Shayna.
Some of it, the people have to take some responsibility. They the ones who picked up their phone and they dialed the number.
Yup.
So
it's
you
not
can't
like
be
they
mad
called
at
them.
They didn't call them. You called these people, and so but they also played on people. They said things to. People are stupid. As humans, we're stupid people. So
I mean, I won't say stupid. I'll say a lot of people are gullible.
Well, I think it was gullible and desperation.
Yeah, like what you said earlier.
All above.
Remember these things.
Whatever word to dress it up and make it nice with a bow on it. It's also the same thing. They going through whatever they're going through. I lost my job. I need somebody to talk to. And then then this person is playing on your weaknesses and
absolutely
things.
So, yeah.
So
I mean, there was maybe some stupidity in there because you
can't. Maybe I shouldn't use the word stupid.
No,
but I'm gonna say, but maybe gullible or naive or something like that.
Right. Yeah, but like if you look, a lot of people's watching these things. Look, I can't even sleep at night over this dude. Let me find out if he cheating on me. And then call. People was actually doing,
and especially if you feel like the stuff they're saying is actually happening, then you're gonna call even more. Now, if they getting it wrong, then that's probably gonna be the last time you call.
Exactly. You might. It's hit or miss with this.
Very hit or miss. Real quick though, Moochie, B Will was answering our questions as far as the legal part. B Will said
hold up, let me see.
The disclaimer came after the lawsuit.
Oh yeah, it did.
And then he said, they said originally they advertised the calls to be free, not just the first 3 minutes. Okay, well then, yeah, that's a problem. That's definitely a problem.
Yeah, and Amina's right. That's why you couldn't call from a payphone. It had to be a landline
It had to
phone
be a
from
landline.
your home.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, snap.
Who gonna get up there? Back then, you only used quarters. You mean to tell me somebody really gonna go on a payphone with a whole bunch of quarters and call? Remember, Inga, the calling cards wasn't even out yet. Remember those? That's another diabolical thing.
With the calling card too.
Sure. This is stuff y'all don't even have to know about now because everybody got their own phone. Anywho, yo, I laughed at this dream because she had the dream that she was
funny.
getting a reading, and then she was like, "And call a lawyer."
But that was real.
Yeah,
that was definitely real.
Yo, she's like, "You need to get rid of them snakes." And she said, "And call a lawyer." And then she woke up. I thought this was like, yo, it was like her speaking to her. She was like, "I was waiting for you to come to me." And she said her real name. Anybody know her real name? I had to look. I had to. Really
I don't remember how to pronounce it, but
yeah, it's the pronunciation for me.
It's Ure D. Harris.
Oh, that's why she go by Ray. Ray.
Yeah, so I thought this was like, I thought the dream was funny. I did. But the other guy, Peter, wanted to have her do stuff on her own because they knew she wasn't gonna be able to. What they did in the meantime, they was like, "Look, Miss Cleo's gonna have to she can't be on the phones right now, but you could do other things." So they had her go on talk shows and things like that. And after that, the guy Steve was getting mad because basically she was starting to get some money from this, doing all these interviews, being in magazines, being on talk shows and things like that. She was even on Larry King, I believe, back then. So yeah. So they was trying to take her name, and he was trying to take her name and say that he owned it, but he didn't. This was her whole character. This was her character from that play that she grifted those people off of. But they went and dug up this news article, and they showed the article with her real name. So now it looks like she's not who she says she is, even though she really isn't. But her lawyer had a point. Look, you can't just denounce this now. Now you gotta go full character and be this person to keep you out of jail and to keep you from owing that money. You know how much money she owed y'all? Did y'all hear how much money she owed?
Million? I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. It was more than $1 million. It was a couple of million. 44 million she was being sued for. 44 million.
You know how much that was valued back then? Like, woo!
That's a lot now. Woo! It's just more than I got. So, yeah, 44 million she was being sued for. Hey, Tina. So yeah, her mother, even though her mother said, "Don't come crying to me when this goes bad," her mother's, you tell your kids that, but you end up supporting them. She ain't turn her back on her. And she even like, I like the way she told her to, like, keep her head up and stuff like that with it. And she did what she had to do to survive. I don't think she was trying to she just looked at this as a job, y'all. And that's what I saw too. But that fame and popularity can be something.
She did, and she really didn't understand, like I said, and read the fine print and get the other aspects of it, or the other intricate parts that was going into it. She didn't know everything that they was doing. She just was worried about, hey, I'm here, I'm making my money, I'm giving my kids a better life, I'm getting up here doing this acting job. And when it came down to it, because you did that and because your face was on the front of it, it was easy to kind of just throw you under the bus and say, you know, that you were the one that did all of this on your own. It seemed like they was kind of, well, it didn't seem like that's what they was doing, broadcasting her more than they was the guys, even though it's they daggone company, and that wasn't something new. They already was having issues from before, so it was like they was known with this already. That's why I feel like they really wanted to take them down, but then they was like, we can't just take them down. That was the argument they was having at first. We got to take her down too because she was a part of it, and she's telling people that she's the psychic. So, yeah.
Just a mess.
And the fact that he was like, "Oh, we own her," like he went and told the secretary, "Let her know that I own her ass, and make sure she can't come back in here for no meetings." After he just finished smiling in her face.
Yeah, he was crappy. He was crappy to her. But you know what part I did like when the news reporter came to the house when look, the news people knew she was gonna get served with papers before she did. Dang. And they came when they came to the house, she knew nothing about it. So you know, she just coming home from work, sounding like herself. And they ain't hear no accent. He was like, I didn't hear no accent.
Yeah, I remember when that was on the news and they was like,
yo, I remember that too. I was just like,
who is that?
Let's be real. Like her,
yeah, she got exposed.
Yeah, that happened on the news. I remember that too.
But there were people who were already down her. Talk to any real Jamaican. That was not no Jamaican accent. Her accent would go in and out. It sounded real fake. It was just, I don't even know how people really kept believing that because it was, yeah. Anyway, it wasn't no real accent, child.
Well, look, them girls in the yoga class was pissed off with her.
That was funny too.
No, he was like,
well, a lot of people, especially if they haven't been around Jamaicans or haven't gone to Jamaica. I mean, the average person just sitting there, they probably just didn't know. They did not know what a real accent is supposed to sound like. So they got swept up in it. They believed it. They thought that I mean, they just, because she was saying the things that they wanted to hear, and so they wasn't even thinking about no accent. They wasn't thinking about accent. Right. They got caught up in believing what she said.
Yup, right. I agree with that. So she let me wait a minute. One of my pages is missing. I hate when stuff like this happens. Okay, yeah, here we go. So look, she even was laughing at how they was making fun of her on TV because I want to say it was Mad TV because that lady used to do her real good back in the day. The lady that do Whitney that used to be on Mad TV.
Mad TV and Living Color.
Uh-huh.
Used to do it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I mean, yeah, you gotta be able to laugh at yourself. Sometimes you gotta laugh through the pain. At the end of the day, she was like, shoot, she's doing a good job, you know. She has to give her props.
I thought this was good, but did y'all know that she ended up so I don't know if y'all saw this at the end because this is the real person.
Yeah.
It's her name is Yuri Del Harris, aka Miss Cleo. She passed away from colorectal cancer on July 26, 2016 under hospice care at the age of 53. Stephen Feder and Peter Stoltz paid a hefty sums to the FTC and multiple states and victims for the billions of dollars that they reaped from their company, Psychic Readers Network. They still operate to this day, y'all, under companies and attempt to live a quiet, low-key life. So they still doing it, y'all.
Yeah, but I did like that part when her mother was like, since when you sit down and be quiet, now you got to fight for yourself. And she went in there and told them, if y'all don't do what's right, like, I'm about to go and start doing these interviews and telling them, you know, my side of the story. And of course, they try to beat her in the head, like, you're going to make yourself look worse. She said, shit, I'm already looking bad. How much worse could I look? That's okay, but you're going to be looking bad right along with me. And they didn't want to, deal with that. They knew she wasn't bullcrapping, so at the end of the day, that's when they finally made the settlement, and everybody was starting to give back their damn money. Like, I ain't about to take the ball for y'all.
Yeah, but at the end,
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say, Inga?
No, I was just gonna say, but overall, though, the rest of her life up until she passed, these two guys, they still around to this day. They still making money. They have other companies. They just transition. They just move their money from this company to something else. But
and kept going.
And she ended up as the one who suffered at the end. If you watch the documentary, her life didn't, she lived a very quiet life at the end.
A lot of things, and my whole thing was she knew that. She even said, like, them two are gonna be okay. These are two white men that have a damn business. They'll be able to move on from this, but I won't.
Yep,
that was right. Her argument. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys haven't seen the documentary, it's on Max. It's Call Me Miss Cleo. Matter of fact, it was on Lifetime. It came on actually right after. So if you haven't seen the documentary, it tells more details. It's very informative. You get a real peek into her life and what she went through with this. She tells more of her story and
her personal life
and
too.
You get to know her personally. So I liked the documentary, and the movie was great too. Anybody thoughts? I know you saw Inga, me and you talked about this before. As far as the documentary, any of you other ladies seen it?
So
yeah, I saw it. It was good. It was very informative because a lot of the stuff I didn't know either. I remember her, and I remember when all that stuff came out in the public, but I didn't know all the ins and outs of her life, and I was like, ooh. So
and you notice in the movie, and I understand why they didn't touch on it. Maybe there's been, I don't know. Maybe because it's Lifetime, or maybe they just didn't feel it was necessary, and that's fine. But in the documentary, it definitely goes into her personal life. But in the movie, they insinuate things, but they didn't say it.
Right.
But they show it in the documentary. Her, what she was into and what she was about. So her mother insinuated stuff,
Yeah.
So but
it did glaze over it because it mentioned the father and
yeah, and even she said, and you don't like my lifestyle, or the mother said something about her lifestyle. And so because I had already seen the documentary, I knew what she meant when she said the lifestyle. So
can you want to elaborate what she meant by the lifestyle?
But she was an open lesbian. I mean, she had up until she died, she had a white lady who was her lover. I think they might have been. Did they get married? They might have been married.
I think they got married
I think they got married before she had passed. She got
married, but
she became active in the community. Like she was at gay pride things and stuff like that. Like back in the 90s, you couldn't be open and free like that.
Not like
that was So no, you definitely couldn't. Like that. You couldn't, especially in the Black community. And,
I think she went as far.
But later on, by the 2000s and stuff, she was able to feel more free and all this Miss Cleo stuff went away. But she stayed very quiet. Remember in the documentary, Moochie, she never was coming out the house.
Yeah, she stayed
a recluse
to herself
in the house
after that.
Yeah, she stayed there. I don't know what she was doing to make money.
She did. Well, remember she had a couple of books she wrote.
She did, yeah.
And she had the books when she was doing a little circuit with the psychic stuff. And then she had other books also. But you know what I was gonna say? She seemed like she had her the person that she had her daughters with. They was in the life too, and I think they had like some sort of fair exchange, and
that happens all the time. Yeah,
they played a facade, and that's what the mother was insinuating. Like, I don't know what kind of games you and him was up to, but we already know what he is. Like the way she was letting you know, like everybody knows what he is, like that.
Well, I'm gonna call Cleo Ray, whatever her name was. She spoke highly of her husband because he had died at that time. He was already dead at that time. So
Mhm.
I don't know how he died, but she did speak positively about him. So
Yeah. And maybe it was no reason to say anything. Maybe because I'm just speculating here. Maybe they had each other's back, holding each other's secrets and things like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes they do that. They will go and have children together, even though we ain't attracted to each other. This is just for the purpose of I want kids and you want kids. But
some people couldn't afford all of that artificial insemination.
That wasn't really a thing back then. I'm not saying it didn't exist, but it was like rare.
Yeah,
like
they used
you
to
had
do
to
it the
have money.
old-fashioned way. You had to have money to do stuff
You
like
had to have money. Yeah, it was a lot of gay people who was having sex with people just so they could have kids. And that was the only. It was just the only. It wasn't no hookup type. I mean, it wasn't no relationship.
It was a fair exchange.
It was fair exchange. Yeah. So, and I said Suburban said it, but I said it earlier in the comment to somebody else at the beginning when we first started talking about it. That girl was her lover. She didn't say it, but I'm almost sure that lady was her lover.
Oh yeah,
and the girl who slapped her daughter in the face, I think that was her lover. So
probably so.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Knowing that I saw the documentary and I know her life, so that's what made me think it. They didn't say it in the movie. I mean, okay, it could just been her home girl that she let her crash on the sofa. It could have been that.
It could have been that.
But it could have been that, or a neighbor or something like that. But I don't know why I believe it might have been her love.
Yeah, that was a little too contentious for it to be a love.
Yeah, because they didn't focus on it. It was more about the slapping of the daughter. So I'm only speculating that because I had saw the documentary. It came out like a year ago. So like 2023. So
yeah, I feel like it was because even the way she picked up the broom and started hitting her with it, it seemed as if she might have been already hitting on her, and that's when she grabbed it from her and was like, "Enough is enough." Well, I'm just saying.
Cause they be fighting too, yo.
I have a question.
I ain't mean to laugh on that. The way Tamika said she already probably been hitting up on her.
Heck
they might have been scrapping with each other up in there because they
where she probably was like, look, I gotta get out of here. These people is coming. I don't got time for this. Not today.
I have a question, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
The documentary you guys are referring to, is that the one that had like Raven Simone and the comedian from Mad TV, or that was Lifetime?
Yeah.
So that's the same one that came out a year ago.
I don't know what.
Well, they actually have two other ones.
No, they have more than one documentary.
Yeah,
they do have more
than
one.
One on Lifetime. I know the one they showed right after that seemed like the same one that was on HBO though.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even look at it.
I watched it. I watched the beginning of it. That's how I remember it.
I just know Lifetime, when they do their movies like this, they always have their own documentary to follow.
That might have been a Lifetime documentary.
It might have been theirs.
HBO Max one is still on HBO Max.
Okay.
Yeah, that's still on Max. That one on. So I think this might be a Lifetime one.
Okay.
Yeah, because usually you're right. Like after they did the Wendy Williams thing, they had a documentary right after her thing. So that might, and it's been more. It's been multiple documentaries about this lady. Conversations about this lady. Yeah. And the Larry King interview, you can find that on YouTube. Or it used to be. I don't know if it's still on there, but I've seen it floating around on YouTube when she was on Larry King telling her side of the story. And I think the only reason why they did cave in is because she was gonna go probably and expose them. She was gonna end up being a witness for the prosecution, and it would have been worse for them. So they was making $24 million a month. So for them to give out some millions of dollars, that probably was no. And
they was going to
probably still had money. So
they was going to try to have her on the hook for the $44 million. He was going to try to leave her
for them
with
to go ahead and pay everybody out, and then
that's messed up.
Yeah, people were getting mad. I understand both sides of it. They were scamming people. The company was scamming people before Miss CLEO even put in the application that came there. They was already scamming people. This has been going on before she even started it.
Exactly.
So this was a scamming operation from the beginning. But on the other hand, people were mad. It's like if I call some number I see on TV and then I'm going to get mad because they charging me and I'm going to go after them to get my money back. You picked up the phone and called the people. So I see
I
both
get
sides
it.
of it.
I do think some of the callers definitely bared some of the responsibility as well.
Yeah.
For sure.
But
Yeah,
right,
they definitely didn't read no fine print. But who does that? No one's. We ain't anybody doing that. When you used to order stuff online back, it wasn't no online then. You order CDs online, order albums online, the cassettes online, whatever it was, VHS online. You just called the number and just order what you want, and no one was reading no little fine print.
Mm-mm.
At least I don't remember doing that for myself. I don't remember reading no fine print. Just, you want what you want and you just get it, and but once they started seeing the phone bill was $400 and $500, that's when they like,
That's
oh, wait a minute.
insane.
Yeah, that means people was on that phone for a long time. You got to look at it like this too. If they held for 3 minutes, once they went to that other number, and then you be on the phone with her for an hour. Shoot.
Crazy.
All I know is with this, they was already getting lawsuits when he brought her in there to tell how much numbers she was bringing in. He was already had his back up against the wall. Steve, when Peter brought her in the office, like, I got some good news for you, and was showing how good her numbers was doing. So
what part I thought was funny when she first met with them at the restaurant, and he ordered her a T-bone steak or whatever it was, and had that whiskey. She was like she living a good life, drinking that whiskey, and I mean, she just was thinking about the money she was making. She didn't think it was going to come, and I think that could happen to anybody. I'm sure this could happen to anybody. Yeah. But at the beginning, she did scam.
Saw they was even bringing bums off the street. The guy said, "Where's the food?"
Yeah.
But did you see?
But what happened? Did she have to pay those people back from that play? Because she did scam them people at the beginning.
I think she got sued for that, but she left them with an IOU. If she would have hit them off with the money when she was getting it, I don't think she would have had any problems. But didn't he come to one of them jobs trying to look?
She should have hit him off. Should hit them off.
Did she come to one of them jobs? Did he come to the job? One of them jobs trying to look for her? I thought he was, because he seemed like he was on a mission.
I don't remember.
I know he was watching.
So that was just somebody that some random dude that they bought off the street.
No, that was a random guy. That was a random guy.
Yeah,
they was just trying. He was looking for. They promised him food. They said, "Look, if you come in here, we give you a sandwich or whatever." And he coming in looking for the food. Instead, they want him to sit there and do read the script and go through all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then the girls was getting mad because she was getting most of the calls.
All the calls, they wasn't making no money because you get paid based on your calls, and they wasn't making no money. So,
all right, so
and now one black girl got mad because every time she called, like 60 times, she called just to talk to Miss CLEO.
Oh, that was the girl with her mother.
And they say, "Well, what's your date of birth and what's your name?" And I said, "Well, I want to talk to Miss CLEO." But you can't talk to her; she busy,
She was like, "I want to talk to Miss CLEO." Well, she was calling her.
Child.
Her mother had the whole.
Yeah, she was going crazy and then going to the mailbox and ripping up the damn bill. Like, your mother's still gonna find out, girl.
Yeah, because like anybody, if about the while you're like, we ain't never get no bill. Let me call see what's going on, or
exactly.
And you might go a month and say and forget about it and say, all right, I don't care about that. Maybe they forgot about me, and you might let a month go by, but a couple of months, you're like, oh no, let me check into this, and then that's when she found out. When she had the cord in her hand, though, she had unplugged that phone. See, that was back in the days when it was like one phone in the house.
Yeah, that was funny too.
And that phone was like in a central place right in the house. So it wasn't like you had no phone in your room and no privacy.
I had a phone in my room.
It was like one phone with a long cord. It would go all through the house. You could drag it
I
all
had
through
a
the house.
phone in me and my brother had a phone in well, he had it in his room, but I used to contribute money to the bill. Then when the phone downstairs, my father would get on that phone and be like, off. Like
Mm-hmm.
look, I'll be downstairs in the basement talking. And they look,
Them
it
one
was
900
no
numbers was
privacy.
used for them 1-900 numbers was used for everything, not just the psychic stuff. It was used for so many things and ordering all kind of stuff. Next thing you know, you got all this stuff coming to your house, and then the bill come and you can't pay, and it was
Look, they'll be like,
it was a whole bunch of scam. But the psychic stuff is still out here now.
yeah,
I see commercials, or I see stuff, or it's still out here, and people are gullible and people believe in these psychic stuff. You know,
some people be real on point with it. Look, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Look, like I said, some people be real on point.
Yeah, they do. They got them shops by my house, honey. Them people stay listening.
Yeah,
they book
yeah.
them.
And you see him in I see him around sometime. You see a place like it look like a house, got a big old sign say psychic. People come up in there.
Look, and look, you might even see one of these there.
A little crystal ball.
Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm. They either have their crystal ball or they have their cards.
But I thought, look, if y'all want to do the documentary, we might come back and do that one day. So I'm gonna put a link, a poll up, and then we'll go from there. So what y'all got going on, ladies? What y'all got going on? What you got going on, Mama?
So this week I'm back. I took a little break from YouTube, so I am back in the YouTube streets. So I'm definitely gonna be dropping some content this week. Definitely gonna be dropping like a hot topics video, because baby, it's been a lot of stuff going on. Also, I think Love and Marriage Huntsville comes back on. Is it this week or I think next week? But anyway, y'all, just stay tuned. I'm gonna do some reality TV stuff and hot topic stuff. So stay tuned.
What you got going on, Ginger Snacks?
I just dropped a little nostalgia throwback on New York Undercover. I dropped that over the weekend because I just happened to been going on Peacock one day, and I saw they had all the seasons of New York Undercover. So I was
I did not
sitting
know
back
that.
and enjoying them. I was enjoying them like it was a brand new show. I was watching them like it was brand new. Really, really enjoying New York. I miss New York Undercover.
Yeah.
Check out her live, because I was in the chat, and it's a lot of nostalgia with that. And
yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I talked to, I said I gotta talk about, because some people might not never seen it, or they just haven't seen it in a long time. Like me, it had been many years. So now I got somebody, I told somebody else about it, and now they going back watching it, and they liking it. So but anyway, I dropped that, and then I did a quick thoughts on the Braxton's show that just came back. And let me see what else I got going on. Tomorrow I'm doing something with Candy, Miss Kira, and 69 Ways. And then Bel Air's coming on this week, so I'm gonna be doing that. And Love and Marriage Huntsville does come on Saturday, so that'll be probably on Sunday. We'll be dropping that. So it's gonna be busy now. So I ain't got no more excuses to take breaks. I gotta be cranking some stuff out now, because I done made all these promises. So I gotta be,
I hear you.
I gotta do it.
Tamika, what you got going on? I think you already said it though, right?
I know sometime this week I'm still trying to set it up. I didn't figure out which day is gonna be which, but I should be doing The Man with 1,000 Kids, and what was the other one from Lifetime? I Thought My Husband's Wife Was Dead. I should be doing those two sometime this week. And then of course Love at the Lockup, and I joined EJ on Fridays for Family Business. And I think that's it for this week. And then of course when Bel Air and Reasonable Doubt come back, I'll be talking about that.
Right. Okay. Okay. So look, y'all need to tune in. We will be talking about presumed innocent. That's the next thing. That's up. We'll be talking about that Wednesday. So keep y'all notifications on. If you're not subscribed to any of these people's their links is in the description. Keep your notifications like, yeah, I'm out of YouTube jail, y'all. So I'm back. And it's more content coming your way. Thank you guys for coming through. I really appreciate you guys, you ladies, for coming through and being on the panel. EJ was supposed to be here, but we got our signals crossed. But she will be back for the movie night with the ladies, which will be up next. So thank you for coming out, y'all. God bless. Have a good night, y'all. Ew.
Put me up in that algorithm and holla at your girl. Ew.